African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation on the 2nd of May, 2024. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. Units of the North Group of troops inflicted defeat on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized, airborne assault, ranger brigades, and 2 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Staraya Guda, Novaya Guda, Pavlovka, Novaya Sek, Kondratovka, Varakino, and Unikovka of the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, the situation along the front line has improved, and defeat was inflicted on units of mechanized and motorized infantry brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Granov, Veterinarnoy, Okremovka, and Volchansk of the Kharkiv region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost up to 150 servicemen, 2 combat armored vehicles, 8 vehicles, 3 field artillery guns, including the US-made 155mm M777 howitzer. 6 ammunition and material depots were destroyed. Units of the West Group of troops actively liberated the settlement of Sredny in the Donetsk People's Republic. Defeat was inflicted on formations of 2 mechanized, assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Algovka, Kupiansk, Andriivka, Osinovo, Kovsharovka of the Kharkiv region, Karpovka, Kirovsk, and Kaladyzhy of the Donetsk People's Republic. Enemy losses amounted to over 230 servicemen, 4 combat armored vehicles, including the French-made VAB armored personnel carrier, the Max Pro armored car, and a US-made HMMWV combat armored vehicle. Destroyed were 14 vehicles, an artillery gun, 7 electronic warfare stations, and 5 ammunition depots. As a result of decisive actions by the South Group of troops, the settlement of Kleban BYK in the Donetsk People's Republic was liberated. Defeat was inflicted on personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized, mountain assault, airmobile, assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Chervono, Severovsk, Minkovka, Vasyokhovka, Markovo, Berstok, Dranovka, Svyatopokrovskoy, Nikolaevka, and Konstantinovka of the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost over 210 servicemen, a tank, 5 combat armored vehicles, 7 vehicles, a field artillery gun, 6 ammunition and material depots. Units of the Center Group of forces have taken more advantageous lines and positions. They inflicted defeat on formations of 2 mechanized, assault, 2 airborne assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine, a territorial defense brigade, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Yudaknoy, Dmitrov, Krasnoarmysk, Belitskoy, Sokoyar, Moravka, Rodinskoy, Novopavlovka, Chinoshino of the Donetsk People's Republic and Filia of the Dnipropetrovsk region. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to more than 430 servicemen, 9 combat armored vehicles, including the British-made Spartan armored personnel carrier and Mastiff armored car. Destroyed were 13 vehicles, 3 artillery guns, and 2 Israeli-made Rada radar stations. Units of the East Group of forces continued to advance deep into the enemy's defense. They inflicted defeat on personnel and equipment of mechanized, assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine and a marine brigade in the areas of the settlements Koltonoy, Poltavka, Zelenigay of the Zaporizhia region, Novokatskoy, Kemishevaka of the Donetsk People's Republic, Novonikolivka, Zaporizhko, and Velikomikhailovka of the Dnipropetrovsk region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost over 245 servicemen, 3 combat armored vehicles, 15 vehicles, and 3 field artillery guns, including the US-made 155mm M198 howitzer. Units of the Dnieper Group of forces inflicted defeat on formations of mechanized, mountain assault brigades, a coastal defense brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of Kamenskoye, Stepnogorsk, Malayatok-Machka of the Zaporizhia region, Antonovka, Kazatskoye, and Nikolskoye of the Kherson region. Enemy losses amounted to up to 60 servicemen, 11 vehicles. Destroyed were 7 electronic warfare stations, 7 ammunition depots, material assets, and military technical equipment. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian armed forces groupings inflicted damage on a Ukrainian military-industrial complex enterprise, temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 143 areas. Air defense means shot down 4 guided aerial bombs and 160 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the start of the special military operation, the following have been destroyed: 665 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 79,150 unmanned aerial vehicles, 625 anti-aircraft missile systems, 24,741 tanks and other combat armored vehicles, 1,588 multiple launch rocket system vehicles, 28,845 field artillery guns and mortars, 40,259 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.